Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Today, we are going to actually start a short new little mini series, and it's going to be actually based around K-pop. And I decided, not really decided, but I came up with the idea of I want to show love to all the generations of K-pop. I have been showing love to 4th gen and 5th gen, and even some 3rd gen groups here and there. For a long time on my channel, the core of my channel has always been based on K-pop until I expanded on to, reacting to everything back in 20. No, it was like my second year of the channel or something like that, like towards the second year of my channel. But today I want to do that by diving into a video called 40 Legendary First Generation K-pop Songs. And we're going to start with 1st gen, dive into 2nd gen, then 3rd gen, then 4th gen, and maybe if there's a 5th gen, we'll do that. But 5th gen's still kind of happening right now, so maybe not. But yeah, I just want to do a short series to show love to all genres, or I guess all the generations of K-pop, I should say. And this is going to be a massive shout out, honestly, to K-Ville Entertainment. That's a channel who put together all these videos that we're going to be diving into. I honestly love these guys. They have just some of the best K-pop videos out there in terms of introducing what's the new K-pop for each month, each week, in terms of doing videos like this where they shout out to different generations of K-pop. So massive shout out to K-Ville Entertainment. I appreciate you guys so much for making these types of videos so I can actually do a reaction series for them. So, sorry it's a little bit longer intro. I just wanted to get us a good idea of what we're going to be diving into. So this time around, we're going to be focusing on 1st gen K-pop. So let's go ahead and dive into 40 of their legendary songs from that generation and see what they got for us. So without further ado, here we go! Curious if I'm actually knowing these groups. I think I've heard these girls actually. Baby Vox? Sounds familiar. But this isn't the song though. Dang. This is so old school. Wow, not much has changed. Outfits are still so much on par. Vocals, let's go! Okay, this is the first one that really seems like we're definitely in the 90s. I think that 1st gen was very much the 90s to into the beginning of the 2000s, if I remember correctly. I think that's where that generation sits. But man, this is a throwback for me because I'm a 90s kid. So this would be the type of K-pop I would have started off with if I was growing up in Korea. So it's wild to kind of see for me growing up, I had my American boy groups, if you will, people like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. Those were my guy groups, if you will, growing up. And my girl groups growing up would have been Destiny's Child and technically I guess who am I thinking of? The Spice Girls. That would have been my generation, those types of groups. So it's wild to see almost some of the similarities in terms of just the music video quality and the outfits and everything. It's interesting how it's almost translating from both sides of me being from America and obviously this being Korean pop. It's so interesting to see differences but also similarities, and it's cool. It's a really dope comparison to have, and I'm loving it. This is so cool to see a whole entire different area or era of K-pop that I never even got to experience. What the heck? This is awesome. interesting. Woo! Okay, Shinhwa must have been massive because we've already gotten like 3 or 4 songs from them in this entire group, or in this entire little like series, I guess you could say. And it's not the word I wanted, but I can't remember what I was trying to say. But anyways, Shinhwa seems to be the one that probably was like a prominent first gen guy group. I'd be curious to know like where some of these groups like landed at, like, because I'm pretty sure at this time period it was probably just the big 3 at that time, where we just had like YG, JYP, and Cube. I feel like those like the big 3 probably in this generation. So I'd be curious to like know like where all these groups landed at. You know, like who was like the very first group? Like who was the first gen group for YG? Who was the first gen group? Group for SM, for JYP, for Cube. Technically I guess that's now the big 4. I don't remember who the big 3 are. Was the big 3 SM? I feel like the big 3 were SM, Cube, and YG. Because I think like JYP I think came a little bit after that, if I remember correctly. But I don't know. I can't remember. You guys can obviously let me know in the comments. But it's interesting to see like, all these groups, and like you wonder like, okay, which labels were they under? Like what was the starting point for each of these labels at this time period? It's so cool. It's wild they actually got hold of these videos still to this day. Like, wow. DJ Doc? Yeah! Oh! I actually like this one. I feel like I've heard this before. I might actually know that one. I mean, for being live, she was killing it. And that's what I'm talking about. That's K-pop right there. Bright colors, crazy outfits, hell yeah. Yes. It is really cool to see that they even had like English like translation captions back in the day like that, because it shows like that even back in the day they were already trying to, I think, probably get their, they probably already had like the consideration of getting themselves eventually to have K-pop be like a worldwide phenomenon. And so it's cool that they were already kind of tapping into like something as simple as just adding like English translation captions. That's really cool to see that already, like back in the 1990s like that. That's fucking awesome. Hell yeah. I was gonna say, is that the harmonica? Secheskis? Interesting name. I like it. What a dope voice. I like that. Woo. I like this actually. This is fun. I know this song because I know for a fact that I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, aespa covered this song. So okay, we're piecing some things together now. So SDS was first gen, which is so wild to think, and actually really cool to see a 4th gen K-pop group keeping a song like this alive and like kind of giving like some like love to it in a way, almost like doing like a remake. That's so crazy. So it was SES. That means SES must have been like what? Would that mean that they were like SM's, like one of SM's first generation groups, like one of their first girl groups ever? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Oh my, this is why I love doing this kind of stuff. I love going back through and like discovering things from the past, like kind of see like where we got and see what K-pop songs have made it to like, to the next generation, if you will, and being able to like be covered or remade, and like are songs that like just like many of the groups these days would absolutely love, because it's what they grew up on. That's so cool. Okay, I'm ready for this now. Oh yeah, baby. Boa? No way. She was first gen? I didn't know that. Oh. This is fun. I like this one a lot. Ooh. Those guys were just absolute badasses back in this time period, because you could just tell like the way they dressed. You knew like every like Korean out there wanted to dress like them, be like them. They wanted to like have that, that like era, or that aura, I should say, about not that they care about them. You could just tell they were the cool guys back in the day. You could just tell. This is starting to sound a little bit like almost like the pre-second gen type of sound. You can almost hear like the old school techno sound. Ali. I like this a lot. Some of these songs are great. I'm surprised. They're actually really damn good. Wow, it's so pixelated. Holy moly. Okay, so is that the Boa I know, as in like Boa from Girls' Generation, or is that just a totally different like artist from first gen that happened to also go by Boa? Because that makes me wonder, like maybe Boa got signed on as like a first gen like K-pop soloist to SM, and then SM decided like after, what I'm gonna assume was after SES, they were like, okay, we want to form a second gen now group for SM. Let's do Girls' Generation, and they already had Boa at their like helm, so they're like, okay, let's bring in Boa as like one of like the like, I guess at that point then she would have been like considered like the leader, and then they were like, let's form the group around her. That's kind of almost what it seems like, but it could also be a completely different person. Maybe they just happen to have two different Boas from two different generations. That's where you guys can come in, of course, to let me know. But yeah, that's interesting. I'm wondering if that's the Boa that I'm thinking of. I'm not sure. JYP! He's not changed one bit. That's crazy. Man, K-pop has changed so much over the years. It's crazy. Man, Bo was massive in first gen. Let's go. I love the like rocker hairstyle. That's sick. It's cool to see like the wide variety too of genres. Like such a wide variety from that generation, or this generation, I guess. Yeah, see? You can tell for sure that had to definitely get some strong inspiration from some of like the 90s hip-hop groups over here in America, because that was like straight out of like a Dr. Dre, like Snoop Dogg like production book right there. The production was so like Dr. Dre like oriented, and I honestly that would have been probably the type, if I had to say, like if I was in first generation growing up, or I guess if I grew up, I should say, with the first generation K-pop, I probably would have been, in that time period in my life, the music that I enjoyed, I probably would have actually enjoyed some of the groups that maybe like were so like kind of similar to like what NSYNC and Backstreet Boys were giving me back in the day. But then I would have been also very much all about like that type of hip hop, like that, you know, like that type of Dr. Dre, you know, like NWA type of style. Like I would have been all about those groups. Like I actually generally, who is this again? The Sotaji and Boys, or how do you say this? Sataiji, maybe something like that. However you would say their name. I might actually go and check out some of their music, honestly, because that sounds like something that I would be totally down for, like, and absolutely would love to listen to. So I'm gonna go and actually check these guys out. I think I'm gonna keep that in my back of my head real quick before we keep going, because that would be something I would actually be down for listening to now, and let alone back in the day. Like that was sick. And as it goes off of what I was saying, like the wide variety, like you have like the almost like the, you know, very like heavy vocal type of groups, you know, and then you have ones like this where they're like very hip hop heavy oriented, you know. So I love seeing like there's such a wide variety of genres even back in first generation K-pop, you know, which is just awesome. I love it. Oh yeah. See, this gives me like Destiny Child type vibes, honestly. Even though it's only one girl. Or maybe even Spice Girls. Damn, Bo! Damn, Boa is amazing back then. Wow, this is actually amazing for this time period of like music. Sounds great. What a sick name, Black Beat. I actually love that name. That's so cool. They actually are really good too. I like them a lot. Oh yeah, baby. Slow down now. Let's go. Sing it to me. Let's go. Man, Boa is just all over this right now. Hell yeah. Yeah, SM. Yeah, so this must be the right Boa. That actually blows my mind. I can't believe Boa started off as a first-gen soloist before joining Girls' Generation. That actually blows my mind. What the heck? That is insane. I can't believe that. I'm learning new things today. This is amazing. This is so fun. What the heck? Hell yeah. SESE. Or, fuck. SES is back. Yay. Very different from the other song. This feels very almost like 1980s song, honestly. That's funny. Ooh! I like this! What is this? I love their intro song. Or I guess it's their like channel theme song. Oh, we're done. Okay. Oh man, that was crazy. Oh my gosh. That was a crazy little like trip through first gen K-pop. Let's go. That was actually so fun. I'm not even gonna lie. Like for me, like my love for K-pop genuinely started with probably third gen. Like the first couple groups that I ever heard, outside of me even like really being a massive K-pop fan and really diving into it, picking like, you know, biases, even knowing what a bias even was, picking my old groups, you know, starting to watch, you know, anything like K-pop related in terms of the variety shows and stuff like that. Before even all that started, the only groups I think I actually knew of at that time period of my life was I knew like I heard of BTS, I heard of Blackpink, I think I'd heard of Twice, but I didn't like them yet. I wasn't a fan of that type of music at that time period in my life. And I knew of... Who else did I know of? Monster X. Those were like the four, I think is what I mentioned, groups that I actually... Maybe five. Groups that I actually knew of before I even genuinely got into K-pop. Like, honestly, like, I remember... The only reason I listened to BTS and Monster X at that time period is because I just liked the music. I didn't really care. Not that I didn't really care, but I didn't really, you know, the fact that Korean was involved didn't really affect me. Like, I listen to music now because of the Korean aspect. Like, I love, the reason why I listen to it is, I mean, the Korean, obviously, more than anything, but also still the production, too. But, like, back in that time period, like, I listened to music based off of how the actual music made me feel. I didn't really care that much about the lyrics, per se. So, like, I listened to, like, BTS and Monsta X because they gave me hip-hop and, like, EDM type of style beats, which is what I was all about back in the time period in my life. So that's kind of where I started off. So for me to kind of go back in time now to see where it all started, basically, and what it got to me being able to be a K-pop fan now, I have to give all the praise in the world to this generation for actually even existing, so that we get to a time period now where I get to enjoy the groups that I truly love nowadays. So before I even say anything else, I want to give a massive shout out to all these groups, all these soloists, for being the foundation that started what is now a massive phenomenon across the world known as K-pop. So massive, massive love to these groups and soloists for being, you know, the pinnacle of what basically has led us to where we are now, basically today. So massive shout out to all of them. Also, just the amount of songs that are actually genuinely good for that time period. Like I remember, like 90s music was rough. Like they didn't have the same type of like effects and like production value that we have these days. In terms of just the music and even like music videos. So the fact that they have some songs that I actually heard in here that I genuinely would listen to and actually sounded really good for that time period was awesome to discover and see. So, I mean, like I said, I actually genuinely, there's some songs in here that I actually want to go check out and see if I can hear the whole thing, if I can even find the music video. If not, see if it's even on, like, Apple Music or anything like that. And also just to really, expand my horizons in terms of, like, the music that I know and love very much right now, which is obviously K-pop. And, yeah, like I said, show love to a generation that really started off, the phenomenon that we have now with K-pop, But yeah, honestly, like there were some really dope songs in here that I definitely want to check out, and I really love to know more about these groups. Where do they all lie at? Who is in SM? Who is on possibly YG? Who is in Cube by chance? Where did all these groups kind of sit at? And honestly, more so, what were some of your guys' favorite groups that maybe weren't featured here? Because I like I said, I'm here to learn and expand my horizons in terms of K-pop and how it all started off. So educate me, if you will, please. But like I said, guys, this is going to be a little mini series. So the next video, we're going to dive into some of the best legendary, whatever you call it, second gen K-pop groups and their songs. So I'll look forward to that in the next video. So yeah. But anyways, guys, with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel by clicking down below, and I'll go ahead and post my K-pop reaction playlist for you guys over here, so you can check out any of the K-pop stuff I reacted to, and you can check the most recent reaction to anything K-pop related over here. As always, thank you all so much for watching, show the love and support, and I will see you all in the next video. Alright guys, bye!